Welcome to Learning to Code with Scratch, the Scratch Toolbox Series brought to you by Rise Robotics. Hey everybody, Lego Man Dan here. We are continuing our Scratch series, the Scratch Toolbox Series, with episode number 2. This one is going to take us into how to create motion with our sprites. So in episode 1, we kind of went through an overview of the interface. If you haven't had a chance to watch that, and you're not familiar with Scratch, I would say go back and watch that first. It's a quick 10-minute intro, but it'll get you comfortable with the interface. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go up here to the top of the screen. Obviously, we've already gone to scratch.mit.edu. We're going to go up here. We're going to click on Create. When we do that, it's going to open up the project board. We're going to have a little tutorial window here. We're going to go ahead and close that. There's some basic tutorials there, good for refreshers, things like that if you want to go in and take a look at it. But what you have here, you have the interface. So again, real quickly, today we're going to be working with the Motion tab, we're going to be working with the Events tab, and we're going to be working with the Looks tab. So the blue, purple, and the lighter orange. We're also going to be working in costumes. So if you look up here, you see code, costumes, and sounds. We're going to be working a little bit with costumes today. So if I click on that, you can already see our Sprite Cat costume. And I did want to remind everybody, basically when I refer to a sprite, that is something in the game that we can interact with. This is, for Scratch's terms, they call him Sprite Cat. You can see down here it's listed as Sprite 1. We can obviously change that if we want, but we're not going to worry about that today. So we're going to go back to the code first, and we're going to go ahead and get into just making Scratch Cat simply move. So if you remember last time in the last episode, we just brought a move block out, went over to looks, brought a next costume block out, and every time I clicked it, it made it look like he was walking across the screen. Now, this is great when we're testing, but for the use of our games or our presentations, this wouldn't work because our presenters wouldn't have access to this screen. They're going to see the game or the presentation in an actual game screen. So we're going to go ahead and build this in a way that users would be able to interact with Sprite Cat. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go down to an event. An event is something the user can do to interact with the game. In this case, we're going to use our left and right arrow keys. So go over here to where it says events, click on that, grab the block that says when space key pressed. I'm going to go over here to these little magnifying glasses. I'm going to make that just a little bigger so it's easier for everyone to see, depending on what kind of device you're on. We're going to go ahead and change where it says space. So we're going to click this little arrow, and we're going to go ahead and start with our right arrow on our keyboard. So right now, if I click it, it doesn't do anything because we haven't told it what to do. In order for it to be able to interact, we need to put the right blocks in here. So before we get into coding the blocks, we're going to modify the costume because we want Sprite Cat to be able to walk to the right and walk to the left. And if I go up here to the costume tab and I click on it, you'll see I have 2 costumes to make Sprite Cat walk to the right. They're not very easy, clear titles. It just says costume 1, costume 2. If I got really advanced with this, it could require 30 or 40 costumes. So who's going to remember what costume 1 is versus costume 27? So we always want to rename things what they are. Okay, so in this case, costume 1, we're going to go over here to where it says costume 1, and we're going to call it walk right 1. Okay, that's the first step, walking right. Then we're going to go to costume 2, and we're going to rename that to walk right 2, because that's our second step. And he's going to alternate between these 2 steps. If you're creative, if you're artistic, you could create a number of steps and really make it look like he's walking and do some super cool stuff. But we're going to keep it simple for today. Now, the next thing we have to do is I need walking left steps. And again, if you're not artistic, no worries. What we're going to do is we're going to click on walk right. Then I'm going to right click on it, and you see a duplicate comes up. So if you click your right mouse button, we can duplicate walk right again. Now it's called it walk right 3. It's given it a different name. We're going to change this to a walk left. And you're probably saying to yourself, but he's facing the right way. Not a problem. We don't have to redesign him. We don't have to redraw him. We don't even have to highlight him like that. All we're going to do is go up here to where it says flip horizontal. We're going to click on that, and we're going to have it point to the left. And then we're just going to go up here, and we're going to call this walk left 1. Then I'm going to go down here to walk right 2, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to click my right mouse button. I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to hit my flip horizontal, and I'm going to rename this one to walk left 2. Now, if that was a little quick for you, go ahead and pause it right here, take a minute and finish it, or rewind, watch this section again to help you get your sprites in place before we go on to the coding. In the end, you should have a walk right 1, a walk left 1, a walk right 2, and a walk left 2. That should give us everything we need to do to make the motion, the animation of Sprite Cat moving. So go ahead and pause it right here. While you are doing that, just a quick reminder, if you like these tutorials, if you want to learn more about how to use Scratch easily, make sure you go ahead, click that like, subscribe, and that follow button to make sure you're getting when new things come out. But go ahead and hit the pause here or rewind. When we come back, we're going to go into the code itself. All right, so now we should be back. We have all of our costumes that we need to build our code. So let's build the code for the right arrow. First thing we're going to do, go over to the Looks tab. We're going to grab Switch Costume 2. Doesn't matter what it says in here, but most importantly, we want to say Switch Costume 2. Then what we're going to do is go to where it says Walk Left 2. What we actually want is Walk Right 1. Okay, this is going to be the first step he makes to walk. Then we're going to go up to the Motion tab. We're going to grab that block that says Move 10 steps. The bigger you make this number, the bigger the jump he'll make when he moves. The smaller, obviously, the more narrow. So you can play around with what you like in the way it looks. We're going to stay with 10 steps for now, and that should get us what we need. Then we're going to go back up to the Looks tab again. We're going to grab a Switch Costume 2, and we're going to change this to Walk Right 2. Now, if I hit my arrow key, you can see we're getting the movement, but we're not getting the steps. There's a reason for that. The code functions instantaneously, and it goes from one block to the next block to the next block. What we need to do is give it time to jump from costume to costume. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the controls, and we're going to grab this block that says wait 1 second. We're going to bring this in, and we're going to click it where the 1 is, and we're going to put a .1 or a 0.1. We only want 1/10 of a second wait. So now if I go over to my emulator and I click on the arrow, see how now it looks like he's moving across the screen, step, 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 dun, 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 dun. So he does that. So you're saying, great, Lego Dan, we got it. We can make him move right. How do I get him back off the other side of the screen? Now, there's 2 ways to do this. The more advanced you get, you're going to start duplicating stuff. So one thing I could do is I could right-click here, click Duplicate. It's made the exact copy, and I'll shrink this down a little bit. There we go. It made the exact copy of what we had for right arrow. Then I could go in and make all the changes. We're going to walk through the steps, and later on down the road, when you're a little more comfortable with this, we will do some duplication. So I'm going to drag this over here, and again, this is a good thing to know too. If you have blocks you don't need, you drag them over here, get rid of them. So we're going to walk through the steps on this again to make sure we have everything we need. Go to Events, grab the When Space key pressed, change it from space. This time we're going to change it to left arrow. Then we're going to go up to Looks, grab the Switch Costume 2, change it to Walk Left 1. Then we're going to go up to Motion, grab our Move 10 steps. Now here's a little bit of a trick. You want to make sure when you reset the steps, moving to the right side on the x-axis is a positive number, moving to the left axis is a negative number. So we're going to have to go in and change that 10 to -10. The -10 is what will let him move in the right direction. Then we're going to go to Control, grab our wait block again, change it to -1, go to Looks, grab our Switch Costume 2, make sure it says Walk Left 2. Now when I click the left arrow, looks like he's walking across the screen to the left, or if I click the right arrow, he's walking across the screen to the right. Now here, let's just really quickly kind of show you something we can do that's fun. Again, I showed you that duplicate, so let's duplicate, and move allows us only to move on the x-axis. right? So we would need to change that setting to work on the y-axis to go up and down. So we could go in here and do that. We're actually going to do that in a different video, but you could duplicate that, change this to up arrow, and start playing around with the settings to make him go up and down, as well as forward and backward. But again, no matter which way he moves, he always looks like he's moving in the right direction. One of the problems with early game designers is they don't make these little modifications, and now you've got a guy walking to the left, but he's almost walking backwards. He's moonwalking, and it kind of takes the fun out of it. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of how to make things move. Over here where you see this little cat, there's a whole number of sprites, and every sprite has its own set of costumes. So we did our demo with Sprite Cat, but you can do your demo with any of the animations you want. Maybe there's a different costume you like. You can go ahead and click on the cat. You can search for a costume, draw your own costumes, and we'll get into how to use a lot of that in another episode. But at least if you want to search, you can go ahead and check that out. Thanks for listening. Hope your sprites are able to move all over the screen. You can use different arrows for different sprites to make things move any way you want. Check out our next episode, episode 3. There'll be more episodes coming after that with all kinds of great things to sharpen your toolbox. Thank you for tuning in. Comment below if there's something you would like to see us add to the series. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you can keep up on all of our latest coding and robotics videos.